People always mean well. They cluck their thick tongues and shake their heads and suggest, oh so very delicately. Of course, I've suggested it myself, but I hate to even think about it. He needs me. It's not as if he were a maniac, a raving thing. He just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes. Alright, I may have a problem. Shortly after I made my video on the first Yokai Watch game, I got this weird itch. It was something I hadn't personally felt in quite a long time. I played through the game again, caught up with the anime, bought the merchandise, heck, I even bought the stupid card game. Honestly, it was probably the worst purchase I made in years. No one's ever gonna want to play this with me. Needless to say, I became obsessed. Yokai Watch brought out my inner child, and you know what? I enjoyed every second of it. In case you haven't seen my other video, the yokai are basically spirits who are responsible for unexplained occurrences in our lives. So, if you can't stop coughing, your neck is bothering you, or even if you spend all your money on stuff you don't need, then just blame the yokai! And everything will be okay. However, only those who have a Yokai Watch are given the ability to see and befriend them. And just like in real life, when they become your friends, you're able to make them fight for my amusement! Huh. I think I just realized why I don't have any friends. Regardless, Yokai Watch was a massive hit, so Level 5 inevitably made sequels in the form of Yokai Watch 2, Bony Spirits, and Fleshy Souls. And from what I heard, they're pretty darn spectacular. Exactly how successful were they, you might ask? Well, let's just say that these games came out the same year as Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire in Japan, and Yokai Watch 2 managed to outsell them by a pretty wide margin. That's actually really impressive considering how crazy Japan is for Pokemon. So can these games really be good enough to make Yokai Watch be a serious competitor to Pokemon for years to come? Only one way to find out.
Stop!
Who said that?
Down here.
Koma-san?
Yes, that is me.
But you're just a toy. How could you be talking?
Yokai did it.
Yeah, makes sense. But wait, you don't sound like the real Koma-san.
Yokai did it.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
Now I command you to go outside and destroy the world, as is my bidding.
I see. Or you could just sit here and watch me play Yokai Watch 2.
I find your terms agreeable. Now, let us begin.
You okay there, Koma-san? You're looking kinda evil and stuff.
Yokai did it.
Fair enough. Yokai Watch 2 picks up right where the first game left off. That is until these two old bags randomly decide to steal your watch and take away your memories, making everything that happened in the first game effectively pointless. You might say it's nitpicking, but come on, the whole amnesia thing is so overdone, it just feels like they weren't even trying. Like, I get that they needed a way to reintroduce the player to the setting and characters, but come on, was it worth it? You get your watch and memories back like 5 minutes later anyway, so really, why even have them get lost in the first place? I could think of a million better ways to start this game. What if they had Jibanyan sell all of your yokai medals to the bad guys so he could buy some Choco Bars? I could totally see that happening. Maybe I'm putting too much thought into this, but yeah, I don't know. The way the game started just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And to tell the truth, that's not my only problem with Yokai Watch 2's story. It may be a bit difficult for me to explain, but a good chunk of this game's structure feels like it's lifted directly from the first game, but changed ever so slightly. A good example of this is the chapter where you first get your watch upgraded. In the first game, you would go to the watch shop, unlock Street Pass, learn about Terror Time, won't get to that in a minute, fight a boss, and then get your watch upgraded. In the second game, you unlock Street Pass, go to the watch shop, learn about Terror Time, get your watch upgraded, and then fight a boss. You see, they switched up the order you do things in a little, but by the end of the chapter, you've done practically the same things you did in the first game. Sadly, this isn't the only time this happens. Even the final chapter of the game is set up exactly the same way as the last one. You team up with characters you've made friends with throughout the story to fight elite yokai, fight a boss you've already beaten, and some spoilery stuff, but you get the point. Because of this, the entire game felt kind of predictable in its setup, and everything I assumed was going to happen ended up happening. But even though I've been so negative about the story, I honestly can't say I didn't enjoy it. Even though a decent amount of this game was lifted from the last one, there's still enough new content to keep me interested the whole way through. Plus, the writing is absolutely phenomenal. I have to give props to the localization team, they did a fantastic job. The dialogue is funny, it's witty, it's insane. I found myself laughing more than I thought I would. There's a cat yokai who talks and acts like Yoda, and he gives you 6 trials but makes you start with 4, 5, and 6. I thought that was hilarious. Even the parts that were ripped from the first game were done a lot better this time around, and I felt invested for every second of it. If you're a newcomer to the series, I would definitely recommend Yokai Watch 2 over the first game based off of story alone. As far as gameplay goes, not a whole lot has changed from last time. Find yokai, try to befriend them, battle against other guys, the usual. They even brought back the camera feature.
I'm going to devour your soul while you sleep.
As far as the yokai themselves go, all the creatures you remember from the first game return, as well as over 100 new ones. A major problem I had last time was that a large percentage of yokai I came across were just palette swaps of ones that I already found. While some of the new yokai do also have palette swaps, there aren't nearly as many as there were in the first game, which I'm perfectly fine with. And of course, some of them are just as stupidly amazing as you'd expect. This one is literally just a naked guy with a shoe for a head. And that one's an umbrella. In addition to the new yokai, there are also a couple new features that you can access pretty early in the game, like being able to battle and trade with other people online. It's exactly what you'd expect. You can swap medals with friends online, or battle strangers to get points to spend on a variety of items. It's okay, I could probably mess around online for a few hours, but don't expect there to be a Yokai World Championship anytime soon. We also have a brand new game mode called Yokai Watch Blasters that can be played locally with up to 4 players. In this mode, you play a minigame called Terror Time, which has you sneaking around collecting orbs, setting traps, evading pursuers, and gaining points to try and get a prize at the end. Unfortunately, I didn't really get a chance to play this fully since, let's be honest, not a whole lot of people play this game. My only real problem with Terror Time is that even though you can play it whenever you want to from the menu, the game will still stop every hour or so while you're just walking around the overworld and force you to play it. In the first game, it was understandable since you couldn't access it whenever you wanted, but here, it just feels obtrusive since it distracts you from whatever you were doing and eats up a good 3 to 5 minutes for no reason. Guess what? If I wanted to play Terror Time, then I would go play it. You don't need to force it down my throat. And then we get into the combat, and again, not a whole lot changed from last time. The yokai fight automatically, and you can influence their actions or rotate them around on the bottom screen. The biggest change to the combat system would have to be the Yokai Watch Model 0, and it's a bit underwhelming. During battle, you can switch to the Model 0 at any point, replacing the Ultimate Move button with a Moxie Move button and Target with Poke. The Moxie Move is just a powered up version of the Ultimate Move, but 99% of the time you won't be using it since it drains your surrounding yokai's energy for a slight boost in power. Since the payoff never really justifies the cost, it's kind of pointless, and I only ever ended up using it once or twice to test it. Poking, however, is slightly more useful, since it can be used on any loafing or inspirited yokai once per battle to increase the money you earn, deal some extra damage, or even raise your chance of befriending them. Which once again brings us to my biggest problem with the game, trying to befriend the yokai. Unlike with Pokemon, the yokai decide whether or not they want to join you at the end of battle, rather than you just throwing Pokeballs until you catch something. And unfortunately, not much has changed from last time. Trying to befriend a specific yokai is obnoxious, and even if you do everything in your power to get it to join you, there's still a good chance it won't. You can use a yokai with an increased friend rate ability, equip them with an item that boosts friend rate, feed the enemy their favorite food, pop a friendship wisp during battle, and poke them to raise friendship, and still walk out with no yokai to show for it. As fun as this game can be, the low rates can make certain parts frustrating, and because of that, I'm probably never going to have a full collection. Even though there are about twice as many Pokemon as there are yokai, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it took twice as long to catch all the yokai, which is ridiculous. But you know what? That's okay. Yokai Watch isn't trying to be just like Pokemon. At least not completely, but still, I thought Yokai Watch 2 was a good game. It took several elements that I liked from the first and improved upon them. It's definitely not a perfect game, but I really do see the appeal that the series has. They give you so many things to do throughout the campaign and beyond that even 50 hours in, I still feel like I barely scratched the surface. Personally, I would recommend giving this game a try, and I can't wait to see what Yokai Watch 3 has in store.
Stop! That is quite enough!
Is something wrong?
Yes, I grow bored of this game. I would like to play something else.
Okay, well, if you want, I got like Pokemon and Harvest Moon and
No! I know what I would like to play.
Alright, well, what'd you have in mind? Oh god, no, you can't make me. I won't do it.
Pathetic worm. You have no choice.
No. No! No! Alright, so I tap my Blazion for... These rules don't make any sense. It's like a watered-down Magic the Gathering.
This game is nothing like Magic. We use life cards.
What the heck's a life card?
I don't know, but we have them.
Are you sure you're the real Komasan?
Oh my swirls.
Now that is definitely something that the real Komasan would say.
Yes. Now make your move. Or do we have to watch the training video again?
My Dazzabell outpowers your Jibanyan with 200 power. And my
We'll do
Yokai
it.
Metal Flip is 200 power. Nighty night Jibanyan, time for a cat nap.
I can't take this anymore. I'm ending this.
Wait, what are you doing? Put me down! I demand that you release me at once! Oh, no! You will pay for your insolence!
Now that that's settled, I should probably get ready for bed. Ah, bedtime. The few hours of the day where I'm vulnerable to being attacked by anyone who would want to cause me harm. Well, good night. People always mean well. They cluck their thick tongues and shake their heads and suggest, oh so very delicately. Of course, I've suggested it myself, but I hate to even think about it. He needs me. It's not as if he were a maniac, a raving thing. He just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
Haven't you? Greetings, simpletons! It is I, Komasan. I demand that you like this video, share it with everyone you know, and leave a tasteful comment. And so help me if you do not subscribe to Shoxir on YouTube and follow him on Facebook or Twitter, then nothing shall save you from my wrath. Now be gone with you, and do not disappoint me. Zura!